The hardest part about the bowling release is getting your thumb out of the thumb hole smoothly, and I'd say is the culprit variable for most people. But once it clicks, you'll have that feel forever. Let's take a look here at this hand cam I put up. I'm doing this downward flicking motion with my thumb. I'm trying to clear my thumb first and then have the fingers follow through. I'm set up in the no-step foul line drill, and our main priority is focusing on getting the thumb out. Think the thumb is numb. Imagine your thumb just went numb. It has no choice but to exit the thumb hole. After we make a successful departure and we get rid of that thumb, it's smooth sailing from there. All we have to do is follow through with our swing, and the bowling ball should naturally roll off our two fingers, and that should give us rotation on the bowling ball. Flick it, then fingers. Flick it, then fingers. It's like that Bop It toy from back in the days. Instead of bop it, it's more like flick it. And if you don't flick it fast enough, then you lose. One thing about the no-step drill that's really good, and I'll say this a bunch of times, is that it grants you the opportunity to work on your release and just your release. In bowling, it's like solving an equation. Since we are solving for X, like the strike, we gotta break it down first and isolate the variable. See what I did there? As a beginner, I was going back and forth on the approach, trying to do everything all at once, hoping that each time I threw the ball, that my release was going to be better. Well, it wasn't. So on this one, I'm making sure that I flick it. All we have to do really is just initiate that action of flicking. Flick it, then fingers. You can even just practice the flick on something soft like a pillow cushion or blankets. As you practice it more, you'll see that it kind of just happens. Gravity does everything for you. It becomes effortless and becomes second nature. In my early stages, I was releasing all three fingers at the same time, causing the ball to get weird rotation, but until I realized I needed to clear the thumb first, then it all started to make sense. The flick is such an important component to the yo-yo release that mastering this concept alone will help you unlock your rev rate potential. In the beginning, it felt very robotic to me. In my head, I was thinking, okay, thumb out and then fingers. It felt like I was doing it too slow, but nope, that's perfectly fine. Slow becomes fast, and fast becomes faster. Just like when we learn anything new, it's weird at first because it's different. Then your mind starts to adapt, and then those neural connections become stronger. Let me know down below in the comments if this is starting to make sense to you. I think it's pretty cool to see in the hand cam that the thumb is literally out of the thumb hole. If I was able to show this video to younger me, I would have seen the flicking motion as a separate action, and in my head, I would have put more emphasis into prioritizing that objective first. The funny thing is that that's literally the hardest part of the release, and all you have to do is just follow through. When we watch pro bowlers, they do it so well that they just do it. It's second nature to them. They've worked on their craft for a very long time. They have the conditioning and technique, and they are pros for a reason. But through the eyes of a beginner, it's kind of hard to separate all of that movement. You'll see in this clip here, in this one-step drill, that I'm just trying to be a little more free in my swing. This was something I wanted to try last second. In my head, I was putting a bit more emphasis on just allowing my arm as a whole just to swing and do its thing. We hear that term pendulum swing, but what does that really even mean? I don't even know. But what I do know is that you have to have the best fit on your bowling ball and you can't be squeezing. It's funny how everything came full circle with my bowling ball fit, specifically the thumb hole. Ever since I got the Jopo grips last year, I've been able to jump between different sizes and have a snug fit. Because of the weather here, it was a great solution for me for how much my thumb expands and shrinks. As I talked about briefly in my last video, fit is something you have to play around with. You may be a tape kind of person where you have 1 to 3 pieces of tape in your thumb hole and you taper them. Or maybe you don't have a good relationship with tape and you prefer a direct bond between you and the bowling ball. To kind of reiterate everything, flick it, then fingers. Flick it, then fingers. When it comes to the release, getting the thumb out is our first order of business, and if you can get that down pat, then you'll have a successful delivery. As you start to understand how to clear the thumb and improve your release, you're going to start to incorporate that elbow bend and forearm I talked about in my other videos. That's when it gets really fun. In bowling, it's all about unlocking your potential, but it also depends on what your goals are. As I say, everyone's journey is different, but you have to tell yourself that you can do the release. You just haven't done it yet. Until the next one, peace.